What's up YouTube, Danny James here, and in this video we are going to be learning some solid ways you can use to add energy or momentum to your music videos. Before we jump to the video, remember you can always support this channel by giving this video a like. You can also subscribe if you're new here and turn on the post notification bell so that you never miss any of my upcoming tutorials. Okay, jumping into Premiere, I have my timeline set up already so that you can do this as fast as you can. And the first way you can use to add energy is by introducing jump cuts. Jump cuts are essentially a way of interrupting the normal flow of the video. So I have this clip here of Tori, and it goes into this one. And the easiest way to introduce these jump cuts is by using a razor tool. We are going to simply cut this video. Just measure using your eyes. Once it gets up to this point, I'll cut this video. I'll give it about 5 frames or 10. I'll cut it again. I'll let it flow just for a few seconds. Then I'll cut it again, I'll interrupt it, and then I can go right ahead again, cut it, and then cut it. So I'll grab the middle points right here, and then right click on them, ripple delete, and then if you watch these, it kind of jumps into the other clips. So what I will do here, I'll also cut it at maybe this point, and then I ripple delete. Yeah, so it's a way of really adding energy and momentum into your videos. Even if it goes onto this other clip, I'd simply cut it some portions, let it run, and then cut it once again. Just measure using your eyes. Especially if you are cutting against the beat, you can tell whether you're doing something right. Now I'll play this from the top. Yeah, so it's a really sure way which you can bring energy and make your videos fluid throughout. So I'll preview it for the last time. Yeah. Now heading into the second way which you can use to add energy is by introducing an artificial camera shake. So I have these clips already, and we'll add a camera shake on this clip that's right in between. So you can go for third-party plugins and all that, but I'll show you a way which you can do it on your own. Let's say we have this clip right here. Go to your effects and look for a transform and drag it onto that clip. And then you want to go to the effect controls for that clip. First and foremost, you want to scale this just a bit. I'll go to maybe 125. So it will all depend on your clip. And then we'll go to the beginning of that video, add a keyframe for position. And then you'll go 5 frames, hold your shift key, right arrow key once, and then you want to alter this position. So that's why we scaled in, so that we could have some room to do this. I'll go another 5 frames, I'll move it again. That looks good. Another 5 frames. Now I'll reset the parameter so that it goes to where it was initially. So let's just see what happens. Yeah, so I'll keep on doing this just a little bit, and this way you can add your own camera shakes. And the last keyframe, maybe right here, you're altering the x-axis and the y-axis, and then another 5 frames, you can reset the value once again. Once you've added those keyframes, you still have one more thing to do. You need to disable using the composition's shutter angle, and then add your own shutter angle. Anywhere between 100 degrees to 360 should be good. That way we'll get some natural blurriness whenever an object is moving within the screen. And the higher the value, the more blurry that it becomes. So let's just preview this. Yeah, you can see that it takes the clip from normal to something else. If you've observed so far, just adding the jump cuts and later on adding some camera shakes really changes the mood of the entire video. Now moving on to our third method of adding energy and momentum to these music videos is by adding some photo burst. Now instead of just transitioning between this clip and this other one, you can bring in some photos just to interrupt the normal flow and add some vibrance to this. What you want to do from the music video that you're working on, you want to get some photos from it. If you don't have photos, you can just grab some screenshots from the video itself. From the original video, I'll grab a few screenshots, just put the video on the timeline, and then get some screenshots on it. So I've already taken some screenshots from this video so that we don't have to spend time doing this. But just for demonstration purposes, how to export a frame, find somewhere you like, and then you need to find this small camera box. If you cannot find it, just go to the button editor and you should find it there. You should click on it and then it will export. Whether you want a PNG or a JPEG, you can take it to your desktop. So let me name this screen add, and then it will go to my desktop. So I already have some other screenshots which I've taken from the same video. So here they are on my desktop. I'll simply drag them into my project bin. Now that you have our photos on our project bin, let's bring them inside this transition. I'll pick about 4 photos, including the one that we recently took. I actually liked it. So we have 4 photos, drag them, and then you want to make sure they are about 5 frames wide. So I'll trim them up like that. And then I'll just set them up at the end of this transition. Just make sure there are 5 frames. I'm sure that you'll get something good with that. Now, if we just play this, yeah, it really transitions into this other video. But since this video has the same photo from here, you don't want that. You want that to be the last one. Okay, so I'll just place it like that. So our last photo is something else, and then it goes into this video. I like how this turns out, but I also think that you can add some things to spice it up. For example, you could highlight on your photos, nest them, just nest them, and then you can add a keyframe for scaling like this, or instead of that, just go to your effects and drag a transform, put it right there, and then let's scale this up. Add a keyframe from 100, we scale it just quite a bit. And then can also add some blurriness by disabling the shutter angle and then increasing our own shutter angle. And that way you're also able to have some movement within it. You can take this a step higher. You can add some textures to your photos before bringing them onto Premiere. That means going on Photoshop and working with them. I also have a photo burst texture pack on my site. You can also find those items from other creators. But simply, once you add some textures to your photo, they should look something like this. So I've already done that in Photoshop because I didn't want this to be lengthy. You see these items from my photo burst texture pack, they really give you the look that you'd love. So I would typically bring these into my timeline like this. Okay, I would also nest them as well. Once they are how I like them, I would also nest them. Let me just show you quickly. And then I'd also add the transformation effect. So I'll just copy from this other one, put it on this other one, because it has the keyframes already, and it will zoom like that. So let me place it once again here. I'll place it right there. But before this transition, I would also remove whatever is playing underneath, and then I'll bring some background overlays. I have some examples here which you can show you with. Let me just navigate to them. So here's some, like this one, it's a B-roll 8mm film. Something like this would spice it up. Let me just put it on my project bin, and then I'd also place it right beneath that clip. I just need it to be able to differentiate, and then we'd also scale it. Yeah, so you can add a bunch of overlays. Let me just take another example from this. I have this other overlay right here. I'll drag it into my project bin once again, pick an in and out. I'd also put it right beneath that one, just like this. So it will really play right behind, and I'll also give it a different label color. So I really like how it turns out. So you can experiment with a bunch of other overlays and see what you come up with. Now going on to our next method, which you can use to add energy to music videos, that will be by adding some slow shutter effects onto your videos. What you want to do, you want to go to your effect controls, and then you want to look for posterize time. It should be under time, so just get the posterize, put it on your clips. And then how it works, it basically works by interpreting the frame rate of your video in an entirely different way. So if this video runs at 24 frames per second, it will interpret it into, let's say in this example, you put it at 4 frames per second. So it will have a jittery feeling to it. And then I'll also put it on this other clip, which is right next to this one. So these are like performance scenes, which I'm basically putting as some b-rolls. So it can really apply on your b-roll shots. And then you don't leave it right there. Again, go to your effects and look for an echo. I'll put the echo, which is under time right here. And then under the echo, you just want to click here so that you can get this slider. And most likely you want to increase towards a positive number. It can be 0.3 or anything, and that way you get some trippy feelings into it. You can also play around with how it operates so that you can see what works, but ideally you'd want to work with add or maximum and screen. Those are good. So I'll leave it on add, and then I'll also paste it on this other clip, and then you can preview it quickly. It's kind of like a really interesting way to add energy to your videos. I saw it in our music video with Pop Smoke and Travis. The music video goes by the name Gatti. Here's an example. You can see how they really did it well on the music video. So just want to add some energy in that sense. Okay, now going on to our last method, which you can use to add energy to music videos, that is by simply adding keyframes for speed jumping on your clips and also during the transitions. So I have this clip right here. These are b-roll shots which translate into performance shots later on. So here's the performance shot, and then you have these two b-rolls. So simply what you want to do, you want to click on this little FX button and enable time remapping on speed for all these clips. Not necessarily the performance clip, but you can also add it right there. And then just watch your video and see what happens. So right now, as she begins walking, I'll increase the speed so that it's about 300% or 400. So I'll let it go for about 5 frames, and then I'll hold control while clicking where you're at, and then drop that value down using this line back to 100. So it will start fast, and then it can go on like this. And then I can also add another keyframe, bump it up to around 400%, go 5 frames, add another keyframe, and then put it back to even less than 100, let's say 70%, 75, and then you can see, yeah, you can see it jumps. And then you can now transition, hold control as you click, and then increase the speed so that it goes way fast. And again back to 400%, and then she'll begin turning fast. And then right at that moment, we'll bring in our second b-roll that we are transitioning into. As she begins turning, we bring our second b-roll clip right here. I also want to make sure I have the right part, so I want this part to speed like right here. So I'll cut the rest, and then I'll bring it right here so that it, yeah. So again, since we have our speed jumping enabled, we'll increase this value to around 400%. Let it stay for around 5 frames. Hold control while clicking so that you can add that keyframe, and then I'll drop it down. This time I won't even go to 100, I'll go to about 75% speed, and then you can see once this one starts speed jumping during this transition, I can bring this other one a bit closer. So you just want to measure using your eyes to see what's working. Again, I can add more keyframes and then play with the speed as I drop down. So you just want to play around with the speed jumping keyframes so that you can get something good. Now I let it run, and then I'll bring our performance clip, let's say right here on top, so that I can, yeah, right there I'll bring our performance clip. And I'll also add another speed jump to this performance clip right before he begins performing. Let me just enable it, increase the speed just for a few frames, and then I'll let it go back to normal. So this really adds dynamic and energy into the video. in crazy ways. Yeah, so that's really cool. You can see the big difference that it makes on these clips, just using those speed jumping keyframes on the clips. And also as we transition into the other ones, it really makes it dynamic and interesting to watch. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this content as much as I do preparing it for you guys. If you have anything to add, or a question or a suggestion, kindly leave it on the comment box and I'm happy to interact with you guys. My name is Danny James. See you in the next one. Peace.